When I was in 7th grade, Beverly Hills 90210 started, and it was all the rage. If you were around the middle school age at the time, you know what I'm talking about. And I had no interest in it. Why? Because I hated trends, or I thought that I hated trends. Today we are up for another edition of Advice I've Learned the Hard Way. Enjoying a little cup of coffee while we're at it. I've got pecan coffee, and then I have a little bit of eggnog in it. I don't like drinking eggnog, but I like it as a creamer. And then I grated a little fresh nutmeg in it. Delicious. Such a delicious little treat. That's what I'm drinking. Love to know what your favorite afternoon beverage is. So, 90210. After resisting it for several years, one of my friends, who is also someone who tends to resist trends, we started watching it, and we fell in love. 30 years later, I still love the show. In all its ridiculousness, I still love it. So resisting that trend meant that I was missing out on a really great show. On the other hand, the homeschool mom in your co-op who seems to always have a new math curriculum, she may end up with middle schooler or high schoolers with significant gaps in their math foundations. It makes it difficult for higher level learning. One way isn't better than the other. I can think, I've been at this 13 years, I can think of a lot of trends that have gone through. Work boxes, for one. If you're old enough to, if you've been homeschooling long enough to remember work boxes, give me a thumbs up. If you don't know, if you're one of the younger ones, you may not. But this idea, the original idea, or as I saw it, was to fill up a shoebox. You need multiple shoeboxes, like you would need a lot. So you would put one activity in a shoebox for each day, and you may end up with like 8 or 10 boxes for each day. So then you would fill it each night. So it might be something like a simple math activity, and then a book to read with a little puppet that goes with it, or whatever. You fill them all up, and then that's what your child does each day. That's how you plan, is doing this. For me, that would mean that I would need like 30 work boxes for a day. That, like shoeboxes, I don't have room for 30 shoeboxes. But I liked the idea of it in that the visual planner side of me would be easily able to see that, like, here, let's throw this math thing with this, and then for the pencil, and then the ruler that they're going to need for math. Put it all in there, and then they're ready. Now, I had a thing that my husband built for me that, with this original idea, but then also used it in different ways. But they just had like little cubbies. Each kid had a cubby, and that's what we used for organizing our homeschool for years. And the idea came from the work boxes. It worked for me. Life of Fred was probably the best thing that I did for Ben when he was young in math. My daughter would have rather, I don't even know, rolling cactus flowers or something. She would have hated Life of Fred. But he was trendy, and I followed it because I thought the storybook approach would be great for Ben. On the other hand, I've shared this story many times about Right Start Math, and I chose Right Start Math for Elizabeth in kindergarten because, one, it was really trendy, and two, people that I respected, other homeschool moms, were using it. So I got it. Well, it was not a good fit for me, let's say, because of all the setup and the pieces and the activities. Not a great fit for me. It was trendy, and it was trendy for a good reason. Very fantastic curriculum, strong math, but it was not going to be for us. there will always be trends in the homeschool. And learning which trends are something that's actually worth your time and your effort versus which ones are not can be really hard to do. Something that I do, well, I haven't done it in a while, but I used to when my kids were younger, was that I kept a list of like strengths and weaknesses of myself and the kiddos. Specifically so that when I went curriculum shopping, or if I saw something, curriculum, trending new curriculum, or whatever, planning system, I could look at those goals and the strengths and the weaknesses and really think about whether that was even possibly going to fit for us. One of my weaknesses, for sure, is setting up projects and putting them away. We all know this. If I had known this at the time, it was our first year homeschooling, I would have known Right Star was not going to be a great fit. Ben loves Legos, and Matthew loves anything that's like a challenge. So when I saw the Lego challenges several years ago, I knew that was going to be a great fit. This was Ben's version of Carver's You Can't Catch Me, I'm the Gingerbread Man. He's a gingerbread monster. This was today's build. And then Matthew's was to build the Yeti. That's his version of Yeti. So that was a trend that I knew was going to be a great fit for them. It's easy, so I know that it's going to work for me because I don't have any setup. Once I've created the cards, we reuse the same cards every year. For Christmas, boom, done. Christmas in our homeschool. I've talked recently, several videos about things we do in our homeschool. I love putting Christmas into our homeschool, but it has to be pretty simple or I'm not going to get it done. And I know that. So when I hop on Instagram and I see these beautiful Christmas rooms, decorations, and these elaborate Christmas lights, that's fantastic for those who it works for. For me, not going to happen. And looking longer term, I do know more than one homeschool mom who's been at the middle school level or the high school level and realized that all the curriculum jumping has meant that their kid truly does have some holes in their education and they have to go back and get those taught before they can move on. For things like history, science, some of those things can easily be, it doesn't make much of a difference. Other programs, it really does. Math is one of those areas that, because of the different orders that books teach, can be a big problem. If you don't find out much about the year or the War of 1812, it's not hard to learn it later. How many people don't even know that it was a war? But if you somehow missed learning how to read angles, well, you're going to have a problem once you get to geometry, if you don't have any foundation of that. Can you catch up quickly? Sure. But you're going to have to know that before you have to know there's a hole before you do it. Or you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, all of this to say, be careful what trends you follow and be intentional about it. Yes, that word again. Be intentional. Don't just choose a curriculum or a planning style or whatever because that's what everyone's doing. Or because it looks beautiful on Instagram. Or because that's what every homeschool video on YouTube that you're coming across is talking about. Don't do it. However, if it catches your eye on Instagram and you start reading about it, and you think, oh yeah, work boxes would work really well for us. Fine, investigate it. Start out small and see if it's going to work. Planning from behind would be a miserable failure for me because I need that guidance. For other moms, it frees them up to to not get tied down to curriculum and not get tied to the list. That's fantastic. But choose it with intention. Choose it because it's going to work for you, or you think it's going to work for you, not because it's what everyone's doing. Thanks for watching.